Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your permission
Morning.
in recording this call. I appreciate it. This kind of questions come up with a lot of people, so the fact that we can make a recording and make it available, it'll help other people in the community as well. So, I-131 and N-470 frequently asked questions. As a matter of quick overview, I-131 is used for advanced paroles as well as re-entry permits. We are focusing on re-entry permit where somebody has received a green card but they need to stay away for more than a year or travel repeatedly. And N-470 that can help them preserve um, residence for naturalization purposes. And I'll explain these things as we go along. You had a series of questions that I'm going to answer, then you can ask me any follow-ups we might have. First of all, you said applying for re-entry permit. Is the re-entry permit related to employment in any way? It can be. In your case, what has happened is that the employer sent you outside USA to start and finish a project outside USA for them, even though the employer and the job are really located in USA. So in your case, this is related because you'll get a letter from the employer stating that, I need to finish this project for them. One thing I want to point out to you, your situation is unique. Green cards are given only for jobs that are located in the United States. So if I file a perm, for example, application for a job that's located in India, it cannot be done. Jobs have to be located in USA. So somewhere along the line, you have to come in and take your job in the United States for an indefinite period. It doesn't have to be permanent, but it has to be an indefinite period. So, to get back to your question, can reentry permit and employment be said to be mutually related? Marginally, in your case, they are because you are working for the employer outside the United States. Um, Even if I'm unemployed, I can apply for reentry permit after coming to the US. Absolutely. So let's say you came to the US 3 months from now, and after a few weeks or months, you resigned from this employer. But you still had to go back to India, for example, to wrap up a real estate issue, or heaven forbid, there's some kind of a litigation going on, or some kind of a personal necessity like mother or father need help. You could get a re-entry permit based totally upon personal need. Next question is re-entry permit is given for 2 years at a time, right? And the answer is yes. Um, the first two times, 2 years is the normal duration. After that, what happens is, if you've been outside 4 years, they will reduce the subsequent issuance to 1 year at a time. Okay. Biometrics. After applying for re-entry permit, we have to go through biometrics on assigned date. Can we go back to India after the biometrics without waiting for physically receiving the re-entry permit? Yes. You only have to be in the United States to apply for re-entry permit, and then of course for biometrics, but after that you can go to India. What I advise people usually is, even after that, until the re-entry permit has come through, try not to to remain outside USA for a year. Come within a year if the re-entry permit is not received. What if it's denied for some reason? So it's better to not assume that it's going to get approved. So after you apply, you do the biometrics, you can leave and stay away, but don't stay away for a year. Come back within a year if the re-entry permit is not approved. What is the normal processing time for physically getting the re-entry permit? A few months, and this can change. Anywhere from, I have seen it take, in one of our recent cases, it took barely 2 to 3 months for everything all included. Some cases it can take a little bit more, almost up to a year. So most cases, in most applications, USCIS is shooting for a processing time of 6 months. But these times can vary from time to time. My official address on file is XYZ in USA. Can we ask for delivery of re-entry permit to my daughter's address in ABC, USA, where we are likely to spend most of our time once we come to the US? Absolutely, you can. So you can have it delivered to another address in the United States where you are currently not living. Can I also ask for delivery of re-entry permit to my address in Hyderabad, India? You cannot. It has to be collected from the US consulate or from a foreign office of the Department of Homeland Security outside USA. Most people either pick it up in the consulate or have it delivered within the United States. Extension of re-entry permit. After getting the re-entry permit approval first time, I believe we can come back to the US before the expiration of the first re-entry permit and again apply one more. Yes. Is there a limit to the number of times? No. No. There's no limit, but at some point, unless you have a very good reason, USCIS could take the position that it doesn't look like you want a green card. Okay, so it's a rule of common sense logic applied to your particular circumstances. N-470. Now, one thing I want to tell you about N-470, what it is and what it is not. Typically, when you're outside USA for 1 year, because of the re-entry permit, your green card is protected. But for naturalization purposes, excuse me, your time for naturalization would be reset. That means you would have to start your naturalization time, which is 5 years from getting the green card, all over again if you did not have an N-470. N-470 does not give you physical presence in the United States. That's a separate issue. But N-470 protects you from breaking your residence for naturalization purposes. Let me explain. Naturalization requires that you must have physical presence in the United States for 2.5 years in the last 5 years before you apply. So if you apply today, 2.5 years, you actually must have been physically present in the United States. N-470 does not protect against that. You still have to have 2.5 years. So if you were gone for 4, 5, 6 years, if you did not have an N-470, when you come back, you would have to wait 5 years. By the way, re-entry permit allows you to do so in 4 years and 1 day, so it shaves off 1 year. But normally you would have to reset the clock, right? So with N-470, what happens is, even if you're gone for 4 years, you come back, you stay in USA for 2.5 years, get your physical presence, you can apply for naturalization. If you did not have an N-470, you would have to wait 5 years. But if you had a re-entry permit and did not have an N-470, you would have to apply after 4 years, 1 day. But if you had an N-470, you can apply in 2.5 years after you come back. Qualifying for N-470. 1 full year is starting at any time, or it has to be in any 1 full calendar year. The way they read this law is, to my mind, this law makes no sense. What it says is, after getting the green card, you must have stayed in the United States for full 12 months with no visit outside the United States, not even 1 day. And that 12-month period can be any time. It can be in the first year, second year, third year of your green card approval. And it doesn't have to be a calendar year, it just has to be a continuous 12-month period. Okay, so this law makes no sense, but it's there in the books. So that's one of the ways to qualify for N-470. And as we spoke last time, I told you that one of the interesting things about N-470 is if you have qualified for it in your background, you can actually apply for N-470 within 1 year after you have left USA. These rules are very complex, very silly rules that make no sense. So interesting thing is you don't have to apply for it right away. You can actually apply within 12 months of leaving. You have to be back in the US to apply though. Okay. Most cases, in appropriate circumstances, we apply N-470, I-131 together. Once N-470 is approved, how long will this approval be valid? I think it's 2 years. Heather, do you remember off the top of your head?
Rajiv, I do not. I'd have to check that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2 years, but we can double check that for you. With the N-470 approval, how long can I stay in India without coming to USA? N-470 has nothing to do with your stay. You can stay as long as you like. Okay, but let's say well, I'm not going to get into that. It doesn't really apply to it. Bottom line, apply to you. The bottom line is N-470 does not give you permission to stay away. It merely protects your naturalization period. I-131 is the one, re-entry permit is the one that gives you permission to stay away. Next question, how long can I stay in India? As long as the N-470 is valid. I take it that once N-470 is approved, the period of stay abroad will count for naturalization. No, I just explained that to you. Okay. So next question was related to the green card approved while I'm working in India. So you are working in India, your green card is approved, you've got an advanced parole. I told you that you should come to USA within a month or two of receipt of the green card. I feel very uncomfortable. This is an untested area of the law. Okay. If I look at the law, what does it say? It says within a commercial reasonable period of time, the person who's gotten a green card through a job should come back to the United States and take up their job. Commercially reasonable period.
What is it?
I'm sorry?
Within here? Within here?
Within commercially reasonable period. That's what I'm reading into the law. So if you stayed for 4 months and came back, I think it should be okay, but like I said, this is an untested proposition. In your case, you've got your advanced parole good for another year or so, so if you come back in 3-4 months, I think you'll be okay. Is it advisable to ask my boss who's having our green cards to send them to us in India by courier? You can. What if green cards are lost in transition? It becomes problematic. Okay. In case I get the green cards in my hands either through courier or by hand delivery, can we travel to US on green card? Yeah, that's what a lot of our our clients have done. They get the physical green cards delivered in India and usually by hand. You can travel into USA using the green card. You can also travel using the advanced parole. Okay, because at the airport they know that you've got a green card approval. They should not give you any hassle. In fact, I have people who've done that. Wife here is on H4. She needs to apply for a social security number. She'll have to do it, I think, within the United States. You can check with Social Security Administration. I think she'll have to be in the United States to apply. Last question, I think, is, oh no, couple of more. What is normal time period for naturalization once green card is received? 5 years, out of which 2.5 years must be physical presence in the United States. You can apply 90 days before the 5th year. Miscellaneous, what documents are needed for I-131? Basically not anything really, copy of your green card. For N-470, we need a letter from the employer and an affidavit from you showing that you've been here for 12-month period. Filing fee has to be paid by employer or individual. It can be paid by either one. That's not a problem. Unfortunately, we budgeted only 15 minutes for this call. We should have budgeted a little bit more time, but I still have 2 minutes. So if you have any questions, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Can I apply for the biometrics in Houston, Texas, though my official address is in Lima, Ohio?
Yes, you can, because basically when we apply for I-131, we'll give your address, whatever address we want.
Oh, okay. Your fees, I-131 and N-470.
Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. If you have any questions about our legal fees, talk with Heather. She'll give you a call back. She'll lead you through the logistics. Let me answer your legal questions right now.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's about it, Rajiv. You have done exceedingly well.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
I'll also send you a link to this presentation, okay? Thank you.